She accused me of assault after I saved her. I saw a girl from the drama department being assaulted by someone in bizarre clothing. I intervened, saved her, and called the police. The next day, she accused me of being the attacker. She claimed I forced her to give false testimony the night before. The police took me away. I lost my Harvard early admission. My disabled father, desperate to prove my innocence, wrote a letter in his own blood and took his own life outside her family's home. Due to insufficient evidence, I was released, but I'd lost Harvard and missed the SATs. My life was over. I drifted through 6 months in a haze until I saw my former classmate walking hand in hand with her actual attacker. I confronted her furiously, demanding to know why she betrayed me. The attacker shoved me into traffic. I was hit by a speeding car. When I woke up, I was back on that night. Don't touch me, or I'll scream. Help. Someone help me. Is anyone there? I should be dead. Why could I still hear the cries from 6 months ago? In the bushes nearby, a man in strange clothes was assaulting a helpless woman. The scene wasn't just familiar, it was identical. I stood frozen on the sidewalk. A car flashed its hazards. And honked. I snapped back to reality and quickly moved aside. In my previous life, I'd seen Madison Hayes from the drama department being assaulted. My sense of justice kicked in, and I threw my backpack at the attacker's head. The man fled, cursing while pulling up his pants. Ethan Mitchell from the honors program, right? I'll remember you. You better watch your back. It was Brad Sterling, the school bully. I hadn't taken his threat seriously. I'd given Madison my shirt to cover herself, comforted her, and encouraged her to report it to the police. When I got home, I told my father about my heroic deed. Dad had broken his leg years ago trying to stop a robbery, but he never regretted it. He patted my shoulder proudly. That's my son. Well done. But the next day during class, Madison brought the police to arrest me. She was a drama major, after all. Her tears were convincing, heartbreaking even. It was Ethan Mitchell who assaulted me yesterday. He threatened to kill my whole family if I told anyone. She wiped her tears, glaring at me with hatred. The worst part is he played the hero, making me give false testimony, saying he saved me. He even wanted my family to present him with an award in front of the whole school. I felt like I'd been hit with a sledgehammer. I was completely stunned. I wasn't pulled back to reality until I was in the police car. It wasn't me. I helped you fight off that man, I comforted you. How could you do this to me? Her eyes reddened as fresh tears fell. A girl's reputation is everything. I wouldn't joke about this. Everyone sided with her. I became the pariah, the accused rapist. When 3 people call you a tiger, you become one, especially when everyone stands with the supposed victim. The internet mob came for me and my father. They said Dad's heroic act years ago was just because he knew the victim was from a wealthy family and wanted a reward. I lost my Harvard admission and was expelled from school. Dad wrote a letter in his own blood and killed himself outside Madison's home. The scandal exploded online. The police reinvestigated and I was released without charges. But no college would take me, and more importantly, I'd lost my father. I drifted for 6 months. Outside a gated community, I saw my former classmate walking hand in hand with her actual attacker. I confronted her furiously, demanding answers. Could I, a nobody, fight against the Sterling Corporation's heir? If I didn't do what he said, my whole family would die. I had no choice but to frame you. I screamed, you destroyed my life, do you understand? But you're still alive, aren't you? What's Harvard anyway? You just end up working for rich people like us. My father is dead. She showed no remorse. Everyone dies eventually. Better sooner than later. I grabbed her throat in rage. Brad Sterling, who'd been silent, grabbed my collar. Keep your hands off my girlfriend, you poor piece of trash. He shoved me hard. I flew into traffic and died on impact with the curb. Now, hearing those cries again, I laughed. I wouldn't be foolish this time. I headed to the night market. Dad was serving customers at his food truck. I rushed over to help. Mom died giving birth to me, and Dad never remarried. After his leg was broken, no company would hire him. He refused to accept help from the family he'd saved, instead running a food truck every night to put me through school. Watching his thin, busy figure, my heart ached. In my last life, I destroyed him. Not this time. I would change everything, get into the best college, land the best job, and give him the retirement he deserved. But things didn't go as planned. The next day at school, Madison grabbed me and slapped me hard. Why didn't you help me last night? I took a deep breath and slapped her back. As a guy, I hit harder. She was almost knocked senseless, holding her face. You dare hit me back? I'm not a punching bag. Why should I just take it? Why didn't you help me yesterday? I don't know what you're talking about. Class is starting. Please leave me alone. My expression was cold and distant as I clutched my books and walked inside. She rushed after me, grabbed my books, threw them on the ground, and stomped on them. Are you working with him? Were you his lookout? You're just as guilty as him for not helping. I pushed her away and picked up my books. I have no idea what you're talking about. Your cowardice ruined my life, my reputation. Don't you feel guilty? She vented all her anger on me, charging like a mad bull, pushing me down and trying to scratch my face. I fought back, pushing her away. She was furious and charged again. Passing students pulled us apart and called the dean. Dean Morrison was tall, dark, and intimidating. Students feared him. Just his presence silenced everyone. In my previous life, when no one believed me, he was the only one who comforted my distraught father. His sharp eyes swept over us. What's going on? SATs are in a month and you're disrupting everyone's studies? Ethan got early admission to Harvard, but what about you? No early admission, just an acceptance to a third-tier arts program, and you're still causing trouble? Madison was immediately offended. Dean, I may be an arts student, but I want to study too. Just because Ethan got into Harvard doesn't mean you should protect him. Protection? I don't protect anyone. Come to my office and explain everything. In the office, Madison embellished last night's events. So you're saying Ethan witnessed your assault but did nothing? You're angry, so you confronted him this morning and fought? Madison nodded. I said, first, I didn't hear any cries for help. Second, even if I had and knew it was you, helping is a courtesy, not an obligation. You're trying to guilt-trip me. Where's the justice in that? Remembering what she did in my past life, I added, you're not planning to falsely accuse me of being the attacker since you couldn't catch the real one, are you? I had to close off that avenue. Madison's face turned red as she screamed. You monster. How could you even think that? And you're supposed to be Harvard material. You're worse than an animal. I won't admit to things I didn't see or do, no matter how angry you get. She lunged at me in fury. Dean Morrison barked, enough. If you can't sort this out, call the police. Don't you have better things to do? Maybe the dean was just speaking casually, but Madison went pale, trembling. If I report this, my life is over. I looked at her coldly. If you don't want to involve the police, deal with it yourself. High school students have limited time. Don't waste mine. The dean nodded. Right. You decide, police or another solution. Your choice. Madison hung her head, indecisive. She'd already made a scene at the school gates. Many students had seen and heard. In a small town like ours, once a woman experienced something like this, she'd be gossiped about forever, making it hard to find a husband. But worse than that, the whispers would be the sharpest weapon to destroy her. After long deliberation, she nodded. Fine, I'll report it. After investigation, I was at most a passerby, not even a witness. I was released immediately. But Madison screamed at the station, he definitely saw the attacker. He watched me being assaulted and did nothing. He must be an accomplice. Don't let him go. The officers exchanged glances, finding her unreasonable. Ethan Mitchell was just passing by, not. Madison interrupted frantically, don't assume he's good just because he got into Harvard. He might be the attacker's partner. They plan to take turns with me. He should be arrested. She was completely irrational. The officers shook their heads. This is a police station, a place of justice. You can't falsely accuse people or make wild assumptions. Based on your testimonies, this has nothing to do with Ethan. Unless you have evidence. I clearly saw him glance my way. He definitely saw. Dean Morrison wanted to defend me, but I signaled him not to. If he spoke up, Madison would think he was protecting me. I met her gaze firmly. I've said I didn't see anything. How could you see me looking in the dark? Do you have X-ray vision? No, you definitely saw. You're an accomplice. The officer's patience ran out. Enough. Ethan can go. Madison stays for further investigation. Madison refused, sitting on the floor like a child throwing a tantrum, kicking and flailing. You think I'm just a nobody with no connections, easy to bully. He saw me being assaulted and walked away. That's wrong. He deliberately let me suffer, wanted to see me humiliated. Someone like that should burn in hell. My life is ruined anyway. Even if it's ruined, I'm taking someone down with me. Ethan can't get away with this. I rubbed my ears, looking at her speechlessly. So I'm guilty just for walking down that street? Other people must have passed by too. Why aren't you after them? Oh, I get it, because like you, I'm poor with no one to back me up, so you can accuse me freely. The officer frowned at her. Miss Hayes, please get up and cooperate with our investigation, or you'll be charged with obstruction. Madison jumped up immediately, embarrassed. I was just confused with anger. I didn't mean to obstruct anything. Let's continue. I gave her a long look and left. This time was different from my past life. I hoped everything would follow the right path. But the next day at lunch, Madison brought police to school again. I just left the building when I saw her approaching and froze. This scene was identical to my past life. Was she acting again? Sure enough, she blocked my path with the officers. Officers, this is Ethan Mitchell. He assaulted me 2 nights ago. I stood frozen. In just one day and night, she'd completely changed her story. In the crowd, I spotted Brad Sterling, the real attacker. Someone nearby was already filming on their phone. The more people gathered, the straighter Madison stood, as if being assaulted wasn't shameful but something to be proud of. He's the one who attacked me that night. Besides students leaving school, there were parents picking up kids and passersby, all craning their necks to hear. Oh my God, our star student Ethan is a rapist? That can't be right. Yeah, he's always so polite to girls. How could this happen? Some people just put on a good front while being perverted inside. Madison is our school beauty. She really was, by a classmate. Yesterday the dean took them both to the police station. So that's what it was about. I don't believe Ethan would do this. He got into Harvard early, has a bright future. Why would he do something so vile? I'm on Ethan's side. I agree. Madison's had countless boyfriends despite her looks. Who knows who she seduced and who assaulted her? Everyone was talking, but it was already different from my past life. In my previous life, everyone watched as the police took me away. I was too nervous and scared to defend myself. Plus Brad later spread rumors about me online, so all the students turned against me, believing I was Madison's attacker. Actually, many people knew Madison's private life wasn't exactly clean. Our families lived in the same complex. I often saw her with different guys on the way to and from school. So I should thank her for making that scene at the school gate yesterday, giving students room to think. Also, I was much calmer than in my past life, knowing how to defend myself. Everything was slowly changing. I looked at her calmly. Is the police station your family business? Yesterday your statement said I was just passing by. How did I become the attacker today? You threatened me to say that. Madison said it without blinking, turning to the officers. Arrest him now. The officer took out handcuffs, preparing to cuff me. Before I could speak, a tall, dark figure rushed over, blocking the officer. Yesterday I was at the station too. Madison clearly said the attacker was someone else. Why the sudden change? And going straight to handcuffs without evidence? What if this traumatizes the student and causes misunderstandings among other students and parents, seriously affecting Ethan? Madison's eyes filled with tears. Dean, you protected Ethan yesterday. You're still protecting him today. Your endless shielding only lets the real attacker go free. Dean Morrison said sternly, protection? Since yesterday, you've been morally blackmailing Ethan. Today you suddenly say he threatened you, that he's the attacker. Do you have evidence? Giving false testimony is a crime. Wah. Madison cried, looking at the crowd. The two officers exchanged glances. We're just doing our job. Please let him go, sir. We can't afford delays in the investigation. We're not obstructing. I looked around, raising my voice deliberately. I'm Ethan Mitchell, Harvard early admit. According to Criminal Code Section 236, sexual assault carries 3 to 10 years in prison. Why would I throw away my future, my Harvard admission, to assault you? Yes, you're the school beauty. But you're not my type at all. I don't like you now and never will. Madison trembled with rage, biting her lip, glaring at me with hatred. The crowd erupted. That's right, I remember Madison had a crush on Ethan before, but he never paid attention to girls. He was always focused on studying. He's our school's star student, too busy with academics and competitions to notice someone like Madison with terrible grades. Exactly. Top students look down on art students who only care about makeup. Madison started crying, trying to manipulate the narrative. Don't be fooled by Ethan's good student image. We live in the same complex. He often talks to me after school, brings me breakfast, gives me gifts. But I don't like him. I firmly rejected him. He couldn't handle it and lost his mind, that's why he assaulted me. Before the students could respond, I said loudly, you say I liked you, brought you breakfast, gave you gifts, where's the evidence? What year, month, day? What did I give you? Be specific. And remember, in front of all these teachers and police, your words will become testimony. Madison sniffled, dodging the question. Officers, he won't admit anything until he's cornered. Just take him in. I turned to the officers. I'm just cooperating with the investigation. Handcuffs aren't necessary, right? Or have you already decided I'm guilty? And not yet. Just come for questioning, one officer said. I'll cooperate, but I'm posting everything online about today. Actually, I'd already created a Twitter account yesterday, posting about everything up to that point, though it hadn't gone viral yet. I'd also found several photos of Madison holding hands intimately with male classmates. I'd posted those anonymously too. Tonight, I'd write more, letting people understand the situation before the mob turned on me. The officers paused. That's your right, but you need to come with us now. Fine, I'll come. In the police car, I thought about my past life. After being handcuffed and taken to the station, Madison demanded $500,000 in compensation. Dad and I survived on food truck earnings, barely enough for school and food. How could we have $500,000? That was the final straw that broke Dad. With no education and no idea how to handle this, he could only write that letter in blood, begging the school to clear my name. But even after he died, I was just released. My admission was gone, no school would take me. I became a pariah. This time would be different. I studied her, making her skin crawl. Let me guess why you suddenly changed your story. She looked flustered. What change? I only said you were passing by because you threatened me. Wrong, I said with a knowing smile. Someone approached you. After weighing the pros and cons, you decided the Sterling Corporation heir could give you everything you wanted. So you framed me, made me the scapegoat. You get compensation from my family and get to be with the rich boy. 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Her face flushed red, stammering, you're talking nonsense. I didn't do that. Outside, I heard Brad Sterling's voice. His, keep your hands off my girlfriend, you poor trash, was burned into my memory. What was he doing here? Then it clicked. From the school to here, he really did have connections. When the officers returned, our eyes met. He smiled smugly. I smiled calmly. In my past life, surrounded by two officers during interrogation, I'd been terrified and confused. Not knowing how to think clearly, I'd been led into saying things that hurt my case. This time, I was confident I could clear my name. It wouldn't be like before. If I kept insisting I never saw Madison, they'd eventually find evidence leading to Brad. But he was the Sterling Corporation heir. He wouldn't go to prison, and neither would his family let him. So I'd be the fall guy. I looked at the officers calmly and firmly. Madison's claimed assault happened during the exact time I walked from school to home. But there are cameras at school and at my complex entrance. The walk takes about 15 minutes. That's not enough time for an assault. Is it? Besides that, I had two aces, social media and Harvard. I'd use the internet preemptively, not letting them smear me. If necessary, I'd reach out to Harvard. In my past life, I hadn't thought to use social media or contact Harvard for help, missing the crucial window. In the end, I'd been led into becoming the accused attacker everyone hated. The officers exchanged glances. One left to report, then returned. Thank you for your cooperation. You're free to go. Seeing me about to leave, Madison exploded, screaming hysterically, why is he leaving? He assaulted me. He should compensate me and go to jail. Both. Madison. Hayes. I looked at her coldly. Yesterday at the station, you admitted I was just passing by. Now you suddenly insist I'm the attacker. Do you realize your contradictory, hysterical behavior makes you look mentally unstable? I tapped my temple. She stomped her feet, cursing, I told you, you threatened me. Evidence? She looked desperately at Brad. I glanced at him too. He looked angry, furious even. I waited at the school gates for about 10 minutes. When school let out and students streamed out, seeing me, they paused. I spread my arms wide and shouted, I, Ethan Mitchell, am back. The more joyful and carefree I acted, the more it proved my innocence. Many classmates surrounded me with questions. I laughed excitedly. The police cleared everything up. It has nothing to do with me. They even apologized for wasting my afternoon. The students cheered. I skipped dinner to call my Harvard contact, explaining the situation. Then I went to an internet cafe to post about being called to the station, unchanged from what happened. Many people commented, saying they felt bad I was dealing with this before SATs, telling me to focus on studying. Others were angry on my behalf, calling Madison crazy. But I'd thought too simply. That night, I was trending. Taking advantage of Harvard admission to molest female classmate. Different from my past life, they didn't include Harvard early admit to avoid dragging Harvard into it, meaning Harvard wouldn't help me. Even if Harvard helped, they wouldn't assume I was innocent based on one phone call. The internet moved faster than I'd imagined. My previous posts had gained some sympathy, but the trending topic reached more people. Many influencers on TikTok and Twitter reshared it. Madison also posted a video formally accusing me of assault, saying the school was protecting me, and Harvard was trying to cover it up. As for the real attacker Brad Sterling, he became the hero who tried to help. Things spiraled out of control. But compared to my past life, I was much calmer. Fine, you learned not to drag Harvard down. You think I have no options? During study hall and after school, I contacted many classmates with a strong sense of justice. I interviewed them, and over 100 students vouched for my character. Learning about my situation, many students fought fiercely online against the trolls. For these passionate students, me being falsely accused didn't just affect the school but every student there. This time, I'd make sure more people knew who the real victim was. It was almost midnight when I got home and found a man calling himself Mr. Thompson waiting. Mr. Thompson was the father of the child Dad had saved years ago. Hearing about my situation, he'd come to help. Dad couldn't refuse, and had no solutions himself, so he accepted the help. Mr. Thompson was clearly influential. His car alone was worth more than Dad could make selling food in decades. He listened carefully to everything, had someone take notes, and assured me he'd do everything to help. Early the next morning, I got a call from Harvard. They said someone had explained the situation and provided evidence. If you need legal assistance, please let us know. I thanked them. Overjoyed. Perfect. With Mr. Thompson and Harvard helping, everything was moving in the right direction. At school, some students still whispered and pointed. But I believed only a minority were affected. During lunch break, Madison suddenly approached me, wanting to talk. Guessing she had another scheme, I smiled. You've already thrown dirt on me. What trick now? If you don't want this to escalate beyond control, you'd better talk to me. Noticing what looked like Brad in the distance, I said casually, fine, let's talk. She led me to a spot without cameras and got straight to the point. Give me your phone. I need to make sure you're not recording. I wasn't recording, but I just sent a message. I showed her my phone. She smiled arrogantly. Good. I'll cut to the chase. Admit to this and pay me $1 million, and I'll let you go. Why would I agree to that? Do you want to keep being doxxed? Your father living in fear? If you keep resisting, I'll make sure neither of you can survive here. You can kiss Harvard goodbye. I laughed dismissively. Your threat does carry weight. But I've always wondered why target me. Just need a scapegoat? And since I'm powerless, with only a food truck vendor father, you want to destroy me? She burst out laughing. You're asking why? Do I need a reason to hate you? There must be a reason. She narrowed her eyes resentfully. Freshman year, I confessed to you after your valedictorian speech. You ignored me, made me the laughingstock of our class. Is that reason enough? I thought hard. You mean when you blocked my path after the speech? I just asked you to move because I had a stomachache and needed the bathroom. She was even more furious. You've always ignored me, the school. Beauty. Do you know how humiliated I was? Oh, and there's another reason to destroy you. Brad promised me lots of money. With that money, I won't worry about failing college admissions. Right, her art scores barely passed, but her academics were terrible. All her subjects combined didn't equal my math score alone. With money, I'll pursue art. I'll sign with Brad's entertainment company and become a huge star. I can marry him and become the Sterling Corporation princess. I couldn't help laughing. You think a real elite family would let their son marry someone like you? What do you mean? A girl with bad grades who frames classmates with no moral boundaries. Would Brad's parents approve? Her expression froze, then turned angry. Brad already promised I'd be his girlfriend. After SATs, his company will sign me. I lost my reputation. This compensation isn't too much, right? How can you hold a rapist's heart? Because you're pretty? Rich guys are surrounded by pretty girls. When he's bored with you, you'll have nothing and face karma for framing me. Screw karma. I don't believe in it. Money talks. She crossed her arms, eyes full of contempt. Look at you. No, isn't that proof? I shook my head, tired of arguing. Since we can't agree. Keep dreaming. Goodbye. Who said you could leave? She laughed strangely, suddenly ripping open her white shirt, screaming into the distance, help. Ethan Mitchell is trying to assault me again. Help. Someone save me. So this was her game. Brad suddenly appeared, rushing over to protect Madison, waving his phone. Ethan Mitchell attempting to assault Madison Hayes again. Evidence confirmed. No denying it now, right? So you two are putting on a show together. So what? He sneered. Your family has no power. What can you do? But mine's different. Sterling Corporation is publicly traded, with huge influence and connections. We could destroy you. And no one would say a word. Aren't you a bit too contemptuous of the law? Ha. I am the law. I smiled faintly. You'll pay for that arrogance. Screw consequences. I'm calling the police now. You won't escape this time. Brad waved his phone, preparing to call. Dean Morrison's voice came from nearby. What are you all doing? The dean had come, bringing my homeroom teacher. Before talking to Madison, I'd texted the dean. He really came, and brought backup. Brad and Madison exchanged glances, then said seriously, Dean, Ethan just tried to assault Madison again. Luckily I caught him. But don't worry, I have evidence. He won't escape this time. Madison clutched her shirt, looking utterly wronged. Yes, Brad's right. That's what happened. Ethan is terrifying, trying to assault me again. I don't want to live anymore. Then go die. Madison's jaw dropped. I slowly pulled out a recorder from my hidden pocket. I recorded everything you and Brad staged. I recorded too. The dean held up his phone, showing Madison and me on screen. Madison glared furiously. I knew the dean was protecting Ethan. You two set me up together, didn't you? The dean said, I only stand on the side of justice. With video and audio evidence, Madison couldn't flip the script now. I called the police on the spot. By then, Mr. Thompson had found dashcam footage from the scene. The evidence proved Brad was the attacker and Madison the victim. On trial day, Harvard's legal team defended me, not only clearing my name but making Madison and Brad apologize and pay damages. The truth finally came out. The two officers who tried to lead me astray were seriously disciplined. I was always just a passerby who never witnessed Madison's assault. After Brad assaulted Madison, under pressure from the Sterling family, she shifted blame to me. Repeatedly acting and framing me, trying to destroy me. Brad became known as Law Boy and trended at one. People condemned Madison and Brad online, doxing their families, throwing vegetables at their doors. Their parents couldn't leave their homes. Madison was sentenced for false accusation and extortion. Brad was sentenced for sexual assault. Brad's scandal grew, severely impacting Sterling Corporation. His parents disowned him, but within 3 months, Sterling Corporation was investigated for tax evasion, food poisoning, and multiple violations. Sterling Corporation stock plummeted into bankruptcy. Meanwhile, I was Harvard's top freshman. I was grateful for Dad's heroism years ago. Without him, I wouldn't have had Mr. Thompson's help. I later learned the person Dad saved called Dean Morrison uncle. What goes around comes around. I won't let Madison's incident stop me from helping others. When helping people in the future, I'll keep evidence to protect myself while still being able to help. I believe the world is ultimately good. The end.